So I want to cover a few things in this. I want to talk about the battle between light versus light. I want to talk about how wisdom is a serpent in the garden, the world of spheres and matter, the world of correspondence, the illusions of being woke, duality, the cryptonite for illusions, what to do in a world full of illusions, self-remembrance. There are 3 stages to ignorance. First is you don't know that you don't know. The second stage is you think you know, but you don't know. And the third stage is, this is where the ego surrenders. Know you know that you don't know. There are some that are blind, and there are some that think they can see. Both are trapped in the illusions of freedom. These 2 types of people are trapped in the illusions of freedom. So this is where freedom becomes a new prison, and being woke is the new mask. And we see this in Matthew 23, where it talks a lot about spiritual hypocrisy, where people appear one way on the outside, but they are this way on the inside. The world of sphere and matter is based upon reflections. If there's a reflection, that means there is something to be reflected or something to be mirrored. In the world of duality, the highest knowledge of the mind is ignorance. When ignorance becomes your truth, then illusions become your reality. Therefore, you are controlled by perceptions. For example, think about a ship sailing beyond the horizon. What the eyes see is measurable. That means it's limited, right? So what happens is that you might narrate the story to say that, oh, this and that might happen to the ship. But in reality is that the ship goes out of the purview of the eyes, because, as I said, the mind is based upon ignorance, and it thinks that what it perceives or what it sees is the truth, right? So we know that the truth is that the ship is still sailing outwards beyond the horizon, beyond the purview of the eyes of that human, of that person, right? But the mind thinks that, oh, that's just it, that's just it. So therefore it formulates a story, or probably take it from somewhere that it got it before, like a preconceived idea or concept or something, right? Because we're not fighting flesh and blood, we're fighting against principalities, and we know principalities rule the human psyche, rules the human mind through the air element, which is to say belief systems, right? So whoever feeds you knowledge, they have the ability to control how your mind works, how you think and perceive things. So this goes back to what they call the world of correspondence, as within, as without, right? So what you're seeing and what you're narrating is really based on something that's already inside here. That's the world of correspondence. Once you accept this belief system, it's like you're initiated into that. It's like you're governed by the fowls of the air, the creatures that feeds you knowledge. They control your mental space. The thing about the illusions of being woke is that illusions feed off duality. Same thing that we're talking about, the relationship with mind and matter. So whether it's good and evil, light and dark, wise and foolish, anything where there's duality. Once you're part of that, you are part of the trap, part of the illusion. The thing that darkness or illusion cannot stand is to be seen for exactly what it is. Not from a preconceived notion or perception, but from the standpoint of knowingness itself. This knowledge is in the sense of a direct experience or an encounter. Why? Why? Because the adversary can reflect or imitate, but it cannot radiate or emanate. This is where you say, I am that I am. Because with I am that I am, there's no image, there's no similitude, there's no shape. Deuteronomy 4 verse 12. So it is stillness, it is static, it is fixed, it is immovable. This stillness does not change. Malachi chapter 3 verse 6. I am the Lord, I change not. It is not a heaven or a place that you get to by reading a book or studying scriptures, or you fast or pray. That's not how you get there. It is indeed a state of being. It is the changeless in a constant world of changing, constant world of matter. Matter keeps changing, but it is the changeless. It is that which remains as it is in the world of matter. It is not a place to seek or to search to get to. It is not something that can be possessed by the ego. But you're being deceived by thinking that you have to keep going towards it. The more you keep going towards, is the more you are moving away from yourself. Remember, the spirit does not act. The spirit doesn't do activity. Motion is for the ego. Activity is for the ego. Knowingness is just pure knowing. Remember, the kingdom is within you and it's not built by hands. So hands is not talking about physical building, but the dam in Adam, from the Hebraic standpoint, the dam is the blood, comes from the mother and the father. That part is made by hands, it's made physically. But the spirit in you, that kingdom, is not built by hands. It comes from the Most High Himself. Remember, it's not what goes in the mouth defiles you. It is what comes from the heart. Knowledge of self is already there, but if you lack understanding of it, that same knowledge, that same thing that is inside can turn around and deceive you. For example, Adam and Eve, they know that ye shall surely unalive if you do such thing, right? That knowledge is already there. But guess what happened? So what do you do in a world full of illusions? You see it for what it is. You find the reality in the equation. Remember, God is reality. Illusions only exist because there's a reality to it. If there's no reality, it is delusion. So because of reality, there is illusions. That's the world of duality. For example, when you're driving on the street and you see some water on the road, you don't do anything to the illusion of the water, but you see it for what it is. What is the reality in that? Light. It is the light that caused the illusion of water on the road, but as soon as you get there, you realize there's no water. So it's caused by the reality, which is light. So you see, you're not trying to do anything to the illusion itself. The illusion itself remains. What goes away? What actually goes away is what? The beliefs, the perceptions, the ideas, the philosophies, the concepts, the thoughts, all of those things that is in the mind, they go away, but the illusion remains. So that's how you win the fight. See it for what it is. You release your stories, release your belief system, and just remain with the pure truth, knowing the reality and the illusion. You're outside of it. You're not cleaving to just the reality. You're not cleaving to the illusion, but you're standing outside and you're seeing both of them as one. This is where the scripture says you resist the devil. Resist the devil doesn't mean you run away, but you deal with them according to knowledge, according to understanding, according to wisdom. Just like when the Yahushua was, face to face with him. So he was coming up with all these illusions and stories and twisted stories. But what did he do? He didn't run away. He just battled him with what he knows to be true, and he held on to it. Now, likewise, we all experience similar appearances of space, time, and dimensions, but they do not take place in space, time, and dimensions, but in the same existential reality we call either knowingness, awareness, or consciousness. For example, the wave is not made out of something separate from the water. The wave is a modulation of the water itself. Likewise, watching something on the screen, the movie on the screen. The movie is not independent of the screen. The cloud is not independent of the sky. All of these experiences are made out of the same thing. Some of you call it matter, but it is not. It is knowingness. Matter is just a way of seeing. So guess what? We can be looking at the same thing, but your perception of it is different from mine. That's matter. Things are not made out of matter. Matter and mind create each other. This is why when you open your eyes in the mornings, when you wake up, you start to perceive the world of matter. The mind communicates with the outside world through the 5 senses of operation, seeing, hearing, tasting, smelling, and feeling, touch, right? No, the experiences of fear, sadness, anxiety, depression, all of those things. What do you know about the fear apart from the knowing of it? What do you know about that feeling of sadness apart from the knowing of it? What do you know about any of these experiences apart from the knowing of it? All of those experiences are made out of knowing. So what happens when your fear goes away? What happens when your anxiety goes away? What happens when your sadness goes away? You're still left with the understanding that the knowingness is still there. So there's this stillness, calmness that's always there prior to experiences. It is in that knowingness, it is in that remembrance of self, remembrance of what you are, not who you are, or what you are, that you are always there. There might be different contents of your experiences, but all of your experiences come out of the same knowingness. Pure knowing. It's pure. It cannot be touched.